Have you ever wondered what sets the great leaders apart from the not so great ones? In this episode, we're diving into the secrets of effective leadership with the T on what good leaders really do. From inspiring teams to fostering growth, I'll share the key traits that make good leaders truly exceptional. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Hello, everyone. I'm Jaboria Scott, a leadership coach and management consultant, and welcome to the best place for people leaders who want to successfully manage their teams and thrive in business. When it comes to the topic of whether or not leadership is the same as management, people have very decided opinions about it. I mentioned in my previous companion episode that there can definitely be some crossover in these roles, but management and leadership positions have distinct roles within companies, and both of them contribute to business success. In today's episode, we'll shift focus a little to discuss the characteristics of an effective leader as I try to paint a picture of what good leaders do, kind of like splitting the difference between leadership and management. While every position within a company's structure serves a specific purpose in daily business operations, the leader's contribution is arguably one of the key players in terms of achieving business success. The leader is not just the boss at the top, but is also responsible for establishing a clear vision for others to follow and creating an environment that promotes success, inspiring and motivating others, influencing positive behavior, and coaching good performance so that employees feel empowered to perform at their best. Let's take a more in-depth look at what good leaders do, and I'll make a comparison with the role of the leader to emphasize the differences between leadership and management. Leaders are strategy-driven versus policy-driven. While managers focus on policy implementation, leaders focus on creating the strategy and the vision for advancing the main business objectives. Leaders focus on the bigger goals as they plan for future business success. Leaders are people-focused versus process-focused. With leaders, guiding people and developing talent is the focus instead of managing the work process. Leaders understand the importance of developing good teams with talented people who contribute to business success. This is because each individual adds their talent and expertise for top-level team performance. This is one of the things that I had to learn earlier in my career when I was transitioning from a lower-level management position to a higher-level leadership role. I can honestly say that at the time, I didn't really get it, and that's okay. You don't know what you don't know. I didn't understand how to make the mental shift for what my new role required of me. For example, I was asked to share some information with a C-suite executive, and I mentioned going to look at some of the reports that really weren't my responsibility. And I had a wonderful mentor who pointed it out to me. They said that the managers who now report to me it was their responsibility to review the reports and follow up with me so that I could use the information to develop the larger strategy. And suddenly a light bulb went off for me. It was an aha moment for me at that time. I learned two valuable things. One, it's important as a leader to allow everyone to function in their appropriate roles. And two, I don't want to unintentionally send a message that I don't trust people to do their jobs, possibly making them feel disempowered. So that was a good lesson for me about empowering, motivating, and leading people. The next thing that good leaders do is that they are change agents who take risks, while managers, on the other hand, are a bit risk-averse and prefer stability. Leaders anticipate changing trends within the industry to help guide their people through the change management process. Good leaders understand that change is inevitable, and it's much better to get out in front of it instead of being left behind. And we saw a lot of that during the global pandemic years ago when employees of corporate jobs were resistant to remote work. Those who adjusted quickly and embraced the change were able to continue business, and some people were even more productive in some cases. A good leader also sets direction for others to follow instead of following a detailed preset plan made by others. This usually involves the leader being at the forefront to drive the decision-making process, leading the way for others to follow. This doesn't mean just going off the cuff on a tangent without using good judgment. This means that good leaders are curious. They ask questions to make informed decisions and gather information instead of just giving thoughtless directives. Good leaders also empower employees to take initiative and perform at their best instead of commanding employees to do their bidding. This is because that leaders understand that every person has a value to offer, and people can come up with creative ideas if you let them and if you're willing to listen. Good leaders encourage creativity, while managers encourage conformity. This is because leaders understand that each team member has something uniquely valuable to contribute to the whole, and they appreciate the talents and contribution of each individual person. Good leaders know that they don't have to have all of the answers, so they encourage creative thinking to find alternative options to solutions and to spark new ideas. When we think about what good leaders do, it really boils down to being a person of integrity that practices those habits and develops those skill sets that allow you to interact well with others, to inspire them, to encourage them. It's about being a leader who's approachable, open-minded, humble, with no ego attached. Above all, good leaders move the organization forward through the people who follow them. That's why it's also important to surround yourself with good people who can support you as well. A key thing to remember is that good leadership, and by that I mean effective leadership, has nothing to do with the title. Good leadership is more about the person who's in that role embodying the characteristics of good leadership. Leaders can only lead because people choose to follow you. Leaders who move the organization forward through action and the effort of people who choose to follow them. And this is why effective leaders develop leadership skills to allow them to inspire others to perform. Now, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to know more about what good leaders do, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Because in my next episode, I'm going to talk about the specific things that great managers do to achieve goals and stand out in business. If you're watching this on the replay, you can always find it in my playlist. As always, have a great week, be kind to yourself, and thank you so much for watching. Ooh, the sun is bright. Had me squinting the whole video. Bye.